Altra Experience Wild, a 4mm drop trail running shoe from Altra. How does it feel running in this shoe? Stay tuned for the initial review. Before I start speaking about the shoe, the usual statement, I bought the shoe from my own money. I bought it from bergfriend.de or .eu and I paid around €140 for the shoe. I bought this one and the Altra Experience Flow together because I needed a road shoe and a trail running shoe, and of course I needed to try something different than the usual. Some specifications. As I said, this is Altra 4mm drop shoe, which means the midsole in the front and in the heel, they are different heights. In the case of the male versions, it's a 32mm the heel, 28mm in the front. Female version, 30mm the heel, 26mm the front. So it's not a max cushion according to Altra's website. The lugs are Maxtrack, Altra's own rubber. It has a lightweight compression molded EVA in the midsole. As I said, the drop is 4mm. It's an engineered knit upper, standard foot shape, no gusseted tongue, retail price around €150, and the weight inside my size 44.5 is 320 grams. Let me start with the things that I like. First of all, this is a very comfortable shoe. I was surprised when I took it out of the box. I put it on and it really feels comfortable. The upper is very comfortable. It has literally no structure at all. A nice thick tongue. I will talk about that later. However, from comfort perspectives, the tongue is a very comfortable tongue. As I said, it's not gusseted. However, it did not move around. There's a pretty spacious toe box, typical from Altra. Maybe not the widest toe box. However, compared to some other brands, this is very luxurious. The cushioning around the heel is nice. I did not have any issues whatsoever. It feels very light. In fact, at 304 grams in my size, it's considerably light, especially when you compare it to the Altra Olympus 6. The Altra Mont Blanc Carbon is a couple of grams lighter than the shoe. The price is an interesting price for €150. Most of the time you can find it cheaper, even as low as €100 on most websites. So that would be a bargain for this shoe, especially if you need a good trail or road to trail shoe. The midsole is very comfortable. It's advertised as being very soft. However, it might be softer than some other Altra Ego Max foams. However, it is not as soft as the Via Olympus 2. Again, very comfortable on the trail. You can feel it squish when you're stepping on hard pointed rocks. It might not be deep enough to protect you completely. However, I had no issues so far. In fact, I ran 30 kilometers out of the box with the shoe and I had no issues at all. The outsole is a Maxtrack outsole. It might not be as good as a Vibram outsole, at least in wet conditions. However, if it's dry, you would have no issues with this outsole unless you are not stepping on very wet rocks. Apart from that, up to now I have no issue. It seems durable, much more than the Vibram Light Base, to be honest. I've ran approximately 180 kilometers in this shoe as well, and so far the lugs have absolutely no wear and tear. Some disadvantages that I found when running in the shoe. First of all, the upper might run a bit warm, especially in the tongue area, since the tongue is pretty thick. I think it's one of the thickest tongues I have had on a shoe. So it does feel a little bit warm, especially if you're running in very hot conditions. The upper is not as breathable as the Olympus 6, for example, but so far, as I said, I had no particular issues. It's winter, even though it's not that cold here. However, it's doing the job pretty well. The other issue which I found the tongue being so thick is to get a nice good lockdown. Unfortunately, I almost need to tighten the shoe so much that it's almost touching each other, and I put even another insole under its insole to reduce the volume, and it really feels difficult to get a very good lockdown because I believe of the thick tongue, and apart from that I have very low volume feet as well, so together in combination it does not help much. It has a Gaiter trap, so up to that point is good. However, I do not understand how come the Gaiter trap is high up. I would have preferred if the Gaiter trap, at least in the front hook, would be further down. The reason being is that this shoe has no gusseted tongue, so as soon as you hook the Gaiter up here, debris can pass from under it and go into the shoe. So at least I would have put the hook further down to mitigate the fact that it has no gusseted tongue and that debris can pass through the shoe. I understand that it might have not been Altra's shoe for technical terrain or for long trail running. However, is there only 4mm drop trail shoe, so I would have at least put the hook further in front. There is little to no protection in the toe area, so if you hit a rock, you might feel it. So far, touch wood, I did not do that. However, it feels more like a running shoe which can do some trail running rather than a complete trail running shoe, especially compared to something as massive as the Olympus 6, which again, I'm not sure which one I would prefer for those very long runs. Sometimes I tend to choose this one over the Olympus 6. In fact, I did the backyard ultra and I did, I think, around 60 kilometers in the shoe, and I had no issue whatsoever. It was very comfortable and it did the job pretty well. So as I said, if you want to try Altra, maybe you're not sure if you want a 0mm drop, this shoe can be a good beginner's shoe, especially when you consider the price. If you're paying €100, I mean, it's a very good deal, I believe, and hopefully the midsole would last at least 600 kilometers. So far, it is very nice. I enjoy the midsole. It starts a little bit on the firm side, but then it softens up usually after the first 5 kilometers running in the trail. As I said, the outsole, even though it's very durable, it might not be as good as Vibram's when it comes to handling wet rocks. However, I'm lucky enough to live in a country where rain is not very common. So for me, considering the dry routes that I run in, these are very good. I have no issues with them. So far, I really enjoy running in the Altra Experience Wild, unless it's muddy and there's a lot of clay, as some of the video showed, which then it tends to clog the kind of cover all the outsole, which is very common even with other shoes, not just this one. However, if you really like to try Altra, I would really suggest to start with the Experience range, both the Flow and the Wild, to see whether you enjoy Altra's offerings before going to 0mm drop, because you might need as well some adaptation. So if you want something which is low drop, maybe you want something with a spacious toe box, this can be the shoe for you. A long-term review will come later on when I reach 600 kilometers, which most likely mean by midsummer, I am assuming, now that I start increasing the running load. So stay tuned until then if you want to know about my opinion after 600 kilometers. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.